Good evening. This is a special session for the Norwalk Parking Authority for August 27th. I am Matt Seebeck, Vice Chair, hosting the meeting, and we'll call it to order at 6:05. And we'll begin with the roll call. Mr. Lutz,
Matthew Seebeck,
present.
Judd Ailey, and Peter Fulham are all present.
Here.
Oh, present.
Sorry.
Thanks. And then we'll proceed to review of the minutes for the 24th. Actually, Brian, I don't think we can actually review the minutes as I will have to abstain, having not been present at the July 24th. So we'll table the acceptance of the meetings from the 24th of July meeting until our September meeting, as we lack a present quorum to accept said. If anyone has had the opportunity to review and wishes to submit revisions or clarifications or corrections to said minutes, we can take those now. All right. And at this time, we open to public participation, and we ask that those who participate from the public limit their comments to 3 minutes each. And I will ask if there are any in waiting.
There are not.
Okay. With that, we can proceed to new business. Mr. Lutz.
Hi, thank you. Again, thanks board for kind of gathering at very last minute. It's kind of revolved around what's happening with this residential program. And in tonight's packet, you will find a copy of the proposed RPP ordinance that the ordinance committee introduced at their meeting last week, August 19th. RPP is residential parking program, just to be clear. The need for a residential parking program has been a recurring topic among residents for the past 10 plus years. The proposed residential parking program ordinance addresses a critical issue in Norwalk's densely populated neighborhoods, where motor vehicles, congestion, and long-term parking by non-residents have strained residential parking availability. The ordinance, as outlined in the agenda packet, will empower Park Norwalk to develop and implement an RPP program to mitigate these challenges. The ordinance follows a state legislative change that allows parking authorities to effectively address residential needs, parking needs. The proposed ordinance guidelines section empowers the Norwalk Parking Authority to take a leading role in establishing and managing the RPP. Under this framework, the authority is tasked with developing comprehensive guidelines and standards that outline the program's process, procedures, criteria, goals, rules, and requirements. These guidelines can be amended as needed to adapt to changing circumstances, ensuring the program it's basically long-term effectiveness. To promote transparency and community involvement, the initial guidelines must undergo a 30-day public comment period followed by a public hearing before the parking authority. This process allows residents, stakeholders, and board members to provide input, fostering a collaborative approach to program design. And I think a lot of the 30-day public comment was very successful when Transportation, Mobility, and Parking Department did their complete streets ordinance. And I think they got really good feedback. So it's something we can build off of. Once approved, the guidelines will be made publicly accessible on the City of Norwalk's website, at the Parking Authority office, and through the Department of Transportation, Mobility, and Parking, ensuring widespread availability for all interested parties. This section positions the Parking Authority, as a central entity for creating a fair, efficient, and resident-focused RPP, aligning with the broader ordinance goals of reducing congestion and prioritizing local parking access. Jim and I will bring recommendations to the board at our next meeting to further guide the development of the program and ensure alignment with the community needs and authority objectives. So happy to field any questions, but just wanted to really give that overview to the board so they're aware of what's happening now. I know it's been a long time waiting, and it's finally coming to fruition. once the ordinance is made, once the ordinance passes the common council, we can go about developing that plan.
Brian, is the ordinance committee, are they making a specification or recommendation on timeline to complete this initial process?
Yes. So I put on the screen the actual the ordinance that they're discussing right now. The goal is to have this at public hearing, I believe in their October meeting. So once it goes through that, they can vote on it, I believe, right after. So we could eventually have something in ordinance by, I'd say, the latest November.
Okay. But specifically ordinance is not tying us to a committed timeline for the initial proposal as
No.
part of, okay.
No,
Great.
no. I think we should have an aggressive. I think as the authority, we should really push to get this done. I'd like to try to get it done before the spring of next year. But I think with the recommendations that Jim and I bring next month will kind of, I think that's where the discussion kind of takes. Like, what's our expectation? What do we want to do? Do we want to have a consultant try to lead this, try to organize some of the community engagement, those types of things, and try to set deadlines so we can get this into operations?
Totally fair. I don't disagree with you. I think, this has been a program that we've pondered for a long time. I think we've discussed it, and we've, now that we have the ability or the proposed ability to effectuate it, I think, we want to move as quickly as possible to respond to the community's needs. So I appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I know, long overdue though, I think, long overdue, so.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm happy to, I'm happy to help put that forward so we can get this, get a program that is net neutral to the parking authority that Norwalk can really, the Norwalk residents can utilize to their benefit.
It seems like a good idea for the residents. It seems like I didn't realize how long it's been going on. So sounds good.
Yep. Thank you.
Brian, you're not looking for a motion or a vote on any of this stuff. You just want to get it out there to us.
Yeah, it's a bring up to the authority, just to keep each of you and put it on record that we've discussed this, that this is what's happening in the ordinance committee. And, it's more of a discussion, but if there's some concerns with the proposed language, you could always, you could bring it up here. You could send it to me afterwards once you look at it, so I can at least make the committee aware of those concerns, so we could try to, steer the ship in a different way if that's how some of the board members feel. But I think this is a good skeleton outline that will give the authority to empower the authority to create a program that is beneficial for Norwalk, and make sure that we can manage it properly. Because I think that's key here. I think some cities have these programs that just aren't managed properly. And I think having the recommendations that we'll bring next month is going to be key to how we manage this going forward. So it is successful in the long term.
I actually do have a question. So I think the authority is, at least the board members are in support of working through this. Because to Judd's point, this is a long time coming. We're happy to do this, but I guess selfishly, what does this do to our relationship or contract with our contractor, Laz?
I don't know, actually, because I would think that if anything, we would be, I don't know, Vice Chair. I think it's a good question, and it's something we should look into a little deeper to see if it affects what our current contract with them is, and if it if they're able to function under that current contract.
And to be clear, Sirak, I see you've unmuted because I want to make sure you get to say what you want. To be clear, I don't think that whatever it is shouldn't hold up our continued support for this program. And I'm not suggesting that, but I think as a body, we need to make sure that we've considered that and we've checked all of our boxes. So, Sirak?
Yes, Vice Chair. Brian and I also have discussed this, and at this point, I don't think this will be an added responsibility for LAS to to change the management fee or manage structure. So, with added staff, of course, it's going to be added staff needed for the operation, but contractually, will not affect the LAS relationship with the parking authority. We are a partner here.
Okay, fair enough. I think Brian, we should look at our scope and just ensure that when if we feel like there needs to be something done, that we involve Corp Counsel and also
Absolutely.
the rest of the team at City Hall, just to make sure that we're appropriately protected, both us and our contractor, and we're doing the right thing by the rest of the people.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I took those notes. I think, I think how we envision it, Jim and I envision this program running is user ran, like having a customer facing portal where if, once a residential zone gets established, whatever steps that is to take to get there, the residents of that area have to go in and manage their permits properly. And then we just go and have a residential patrol, just checking those areas. So I think it's just minimum. Well, I don't know. I don't want to state anything just yet because I don't know. And I think that's where we need to kind of further discuss, right?
To your point. Yep. That's part of what the guidelines, standards, and criteria, rules, and requirements will be. I'm looking forward to, pardon that interruption, but I'm looking forward to working that out, because I think this is a needed program, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with it.
Right.
Brian, is this something that you try to imitate the successful system, or you build it from the ground up?
I think there's cases for both. I think Norwalk is a unique community. I don't think we could just pull from, say, maybe I think New Haven has one. I know Stanford has one, but I don't know how successful they are. And I think if we build it towards how Norwalk functions, I think it'll be best. I think that's how we should. I really think I think ground up is probably where I would lean, but also lean on some of the best practices of successful cities. And I think that's where one of the recommendations that I am going to bring up next month is to get help with a consultant to go over like best practices and, try to drive how we can be, a leading, we're always talking about how Norwalk is leading in a lot of parking initiatives. And I think this is a really good opportunity to show the, local, the tri-state area, or even nationally, that Norwalk can, Norwalk's residential program is the top program in the country, which I would love.
Sounds good.
Okay, I think
Anything else? Yeah.
Yeah.
The next item on the new business agenda is we have a lease request.
Yeah, so Adrian Hurtado, who's our newest tenant, is requesting additional rent-free month. In the initial agreement, we gave him 3 months for his build out, but he was unable to complete in the time period. And one of the delays, and a major delay, was caused by the lack of a gas line into the space. Lobstercraft used exterior propane tanks on the outside, which we eliminated with the upcoming streetscape project over in that area. So just looking for a discussion between the board members and hopefully a vote to move forward with this request, and happy to answer questions before that.
So Judd, go ahead.
Yeah, what's 1 month's rent? What would we be losing here?
I think it's, Rocky, keep me honest here. Is it 1,800?
18 and some change, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
Can we, is there a way to get the backup to get the full number so that we can have a
Yeah.
fulsome motion? Judd, sorry.
I'm gonna look it up on my phone. Rocky, if you can too, just so you so I can help answer any other questions while I look that up.
Did we assisted in, or, you know, what was the process to get a full, is there a full gas line now to the space? Is that the situation?
That's correct.
Okay. And did that need to be pulled from Monroe Street, or?
No, we have an existing line that's towards the guess that would be the south end of that part of the station. They
Okay.
had to take it off the main line and just kind of pipe it through the space to get to where he's at.
Vice Chair, the full amount is 1,830 per month.
30. Thanks, Rocky.
And that, bringing that gas line into his space, is that something he paid for or we paid for?
It was something that we paid for.
I see.
Um,
How about splitting the difference here?
well, let me follow up that question, Judd, with a further question. Sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah.
double the question, but Brian, how did this come to our attention? Was this, did the tenant bring this to our attention directly? Did he bring it to our real estate brokerage representative? How did this come to us?
So during the leasing process, it was understood that those propane tanks would be there for Adrian. With the elimination of those propane tanks, he was like, I need to get something pulled into the space to be, to run his kitchen. So I think it was partly to, with the improvements that are happening on State Street, to make it look nice and clean without those, either keeping the options were keeping the propane tanks and just putting a enclosure, or just open up the space to, give a little bit more space for sidewalks, walking room. That's how it came up. And then when he came in, we was like, well, we can get a line put in, and it just took a little bit of time with Eversource to coordinate the work.
So we didn't amend the lease to change the terms. We just, we independent of our real estate contact, just agreed to swap what type of utility or what the actual means of the utility delivery would be as part of the delivery condition.
I think that's safe to say. Yeah.
Okay. Judd, does that help answer your question, or at least your first question?
So I guess it sounds like we created the lack of gas by removing the propane tanks for aesthetic reasons. Is that is that correct?
Yes.
So it was no fault of his.
No.
And then it took a additional month to get that gas line run through the building over to his space.
I'd say, yeah, I wouldn't say a full month, but it took a few weeks to get it going, and it held up his inspection because he couldn't get it fully inspected and ready to go before that line was in.
Right, and if we hadn't taken the propane tank out, he might be in operation now.
Correct.
I see. Okay.
Which he did open up on, he had a friends and family opening on Sunday.
Mhm.
I believe his first day was yesterday at 4:30. And I actually went there today to have lunch, and it's if you're looking for good tacos, you gotta go.
Yeah, his place on Wall Street is pretty good, and he's
Yeah.
been there a year or two. I guess knowing that we pulled the propane tanks out and sort of created this situation, I'd be inclined to give it to him then. I don't know.
And-
Everybody else.
What form, thank you, Judd, sorry. What form is this modification taking? Is the vote and memorialization within this meeting going to constitute the change, or are we formalizing it in a separate document?
No, it'll, once it gets memorialized here at this meeting, I'll send it to our legal department and they'll make an amendment to to his contract,
Okay,
to the agreement.
Peter, I saw you come off mute.
No, that's fine. I
Okay.
just wanted to say I was in agreement. It seems if we threw the little monkey wrench into his opening, then, we might certainly cut him a break.
Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to either effect.
Peter?
So I'd like to make a motion to give one more additional months for fit up in his restaurant due to the removal of the existing propane tanks and run a new gas line of $1,830.
Thank you, Peter. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion to come before this motion? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes for an additional month in the amount of $1,830. Thank you. Is there any further new business?
No, sir. That's it for tonight.
That's it. All right. If that's all that's on the agenda, that's all that we have at this point. I'll
Vice Chair, could I just interrupt you real quick before we do adjourn?
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
I was thinking, I was like, we were just talking to Taco Guy, should let the public know if, when they're watching, that there is a ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow at 3, at the New Haven Boundside train station in front of his restaurant. People are interested in coming, please come. It's a really awesome thing to celebrate. And I really think, if the authority can make it, that's great. I send out invites. I think it's a great addition to the city of Norwalk.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sarah, you gonna be there?
Yes, I will be there.
You'll be there. Okay.
There being no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn the August meeting.
Thank you very much. There's a motion to adjourn. Our next scheduled meeting is September the 24th at 6 p.m. I look forward to seeing more folks at that and hearing from you again and speaking with all of you again.
Okay. Do you want a second for that motion, or doesn't matter?
At this point, Peter, we're good, but I'll take your second, and
Okay.
we will stand adjourned at 6:29 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good
Good
day.
weekend.